believe that every wedding or every event needs to trash less. So we try to plan in such a way that there is nothing going to the landfill, and also we make sure that we don't have anything single-use disposable at the wedding site. And also all the cleaners that are being used are all natural cleaners, so no chemical cleaners. So when we leave the premises, we are not leaving behind any chemicals nor any trash.
Hi, Marvin. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Monica. How are you doing?
Perfectly fine. It's such a joy to have you for Confab, a special initiative started by My Big Brand Story to share compelling narratives and unique brand stories. So, Marvin, tell us something about your brand, Hasiru Dala Innovations. Why did you choose this brand name? What is so unique about it?
Well, Monica, thank you so much for having me here. Basically, Hasiudala Innovations is a not-for-loss for-purpose social enterprise that is focused on encouraging entrepreneurship amongst waste pickers and looking at better business models for a better living for the waste pickers. And if you're asking about the name Hasiudala, which was basically chosen by waste pickers themselves, which means green force from the colloquial name Hasirudala in Kannada here in Karnataka.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So that means this name, the community has come up with. Oh, lovely.
Yes,
That's
yes.
incredible.
Our,
That's incredible.
yeah, our entire focus has always been providing better livelihood opportunities for waste pickers. So we go around saying that, waste pickers don't work for us, we work for them.
Lovely, lovely. So you have started this brand Hasiru Dala Innovations, and I'm sure you would have come up with so many challenges. Like you would have faced so many challenges, and how did you manage those challenges? And you are here today, so could you share that journey with us? Like how incredible this journey has been for you.
Yeah, well, it's a very long story, and I'll try and shrink it down as much as possible. But before I get into Hasiudala Innovations, I have to mention that before Hasiudala Innovations, a for-profit started, it initially began as a not-for-profit by the trust, which was just Hasirudala, and that's where the entire focus on integrating waste pickers into the formal solid waste management system in the city actually began. Waste pickers are silent environment wardens. They go about silently late in the night, early in the morning, anytime that they seem fit to collect waste from the streets and sell it to a recycler, only to make a meager amount to survive for that day. So in simple terms, it's if I was a waste picker and I needed food to eat, I had to go out for many kilometers walking to pick up waste from the streets and unhygienic places. And if I would be able to find someone to buy that, that's the money that I would get to eat that day. That's basically what a waste
Oh,
picker does. And Bangalore has over 45,000 waste pickers, residing here, and they're doing such a tremendous job. Back then in 2010-11, when my journey began, we realized that there are waste pickers in the city, and they are not being encouraged or recognized for the contribution in Bangalore. So when Hasiudala started, the trust started, the first primary objective was to bring that recognition for these waste pickers. So the only way we could bring that recognition was to prove to the local municipality, the local government, that they are contributing to the economy and to the municipality savings. So what we did is we did a study of about 15,000 waste pickers, which is an official study that's out in public domain. And the data that we gathered showed us that the municipality is saving 84 crores annually.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And that quantity is not even in the purview of the municipality. So they don't even know this much quantities is being diverted from the landfills. And what we did was showed this data to the government. And what they did was, in turn, for the first time, BBMP, which is our local municipality here in Bangalore, provided a work-based ID cards to waste pickers. That was the first time in the history of the country that a municipality provided an ID card to waste picker. And what it did was it stopped all the harassment a waste picker would face, generally by free roaming across the city collecting waste. They would be targeted for thieves, because if there was any theft in the neighborhood, the waste pickers would be the first people that would get rounded up by the police. So the harassment stopped. They got access to social security benefits like pension, health insurance, scholarships. And slowly, the journey of the waste picker being integrated into the waste management system began.
Lovely, lovely. That's incredible. So, this model that you have started, if I may ask you, this is now restricted to a particular region. If one has to scale up this model, so what could be the challenges that a country as big as India could face?
Surprisingly, it is not going to be as challenging, because Hasru Dala, the trust, is part of a larger national network, which is called Alliance of Indian Waste Pickers, which means there are other organizations like Hasru Dala, the trust, that are present in other cities in the country and are working with waste pickers, trying to bring better livelihoods to them. So what we did as Hasru Dala Innovations is we tried to remove all the business aspect from the trust and started a for-profit to ensure that the trust is focusing only on social security and social justice, while as the company Hasru Dala Innovations focuses more on the business side of it, so that it's two separate organizations and there is no mixing of interest, and we have a clear Chinese wall between two organizations.
Lovely, lovely. That's amazing to hear that anything nowadays is done needs to have a scalable model, and it's very much feasible in your case, because in a country like India, which is already producing so much of waste, we would like to have an interesting model where all these rag pickers are living a life of dignity, and they are respected for what they are doing. And I think what you guys are doing, it's phenomenal. I think hats off to you guys for doing such an amazing work. While we were kind of understanding the entire offerings that you have, one of the very interesting offerings that you have is eco-friendly weddings. This is something that excited all of us, and I'm sure our viewers are also going to love that. Could you tell something more about how do you do this, and what motivated you to have eco-friendly weddings, and how successful is this model, and anything that you would like to share about eco-friendly weddings, which is value adding for our audience?
Yes. Well, the services that we offer is not limited only to weddings, but also to any kind of event that can take place. For example, wedding is one thing that you already mentioned. There's also naming ceremonies. There's also sporting events. There's also music festivals. So any kind of an event, even if it is a housewarming ceremony, it can be hosted in a very sustainable manner. It's very simple. All you need to do, everybody wants to have a grand, when we're talking about weddings, everybody wants to celebrate in a very grand manner. and people are more than happy to ensure that anybody who visits the event, the wedding, is enters happy and leaves happy. And what are the things that people notice is the decor.
Yeah.
People come there for the food.
Yes.
What people tend to forget is there is a lot of uh, eco-friendly and non-eco-friendly products that are used in decor. And also, people are less sensitive to the waste that gets generated from events. On
Agreed.
an average, if you notice,
Hmm.
speaking of decor, there is a lot of uh, non-reusable materials that are being used. Like thermocol,
Right, right, right.
and maybe the sponge in the flower decoration. cut
Hmm.
flowers cut flowers
Right.
even though they look beautiful, it still lands up being waste after the event is over. You know and uh, so what we offer is a more consultation and an end-to-end solution to any event. So when we're speaking of weddings, we consult with the bride and groom if they are directly engaging with us, or it could be a wedding planner, and they engage with us right from the beginning, like how they would with any other vendor when it comes to venue, catering, and everything. So we get in right at the beginning, and we ensure that we understand what the family wants or the wedding planner wants, and then we suggest suitable solutions, because nowadays I think everybody is getting a little sensitive to being sustainable, especially at weddings, and they want to pass on this message, like they have shifted from physical invitation cards to virtual cards, and they have
Yes.
virtual video invitations.
Yes.
Similarly, there are multiple options when it comes to how you manage your wedding sustainably. So we suggest, instead of having disposable plates, why don't you use reusable plates? Then people
Hmm.
start wondering, if I have hundreds of people coming, that means I'll need hundreds of plates. Who's going to wash? The caterer is not going to do it. That's where we step in, you know. So if we are suggesting a solution, that means we'll back it up to ensure that you don't have anything to worry about. We will connect you with the people who have reusable cutlery. We have the team that will ensure that it is hygienically washed and given back for reuse during the whole ceremony and during catering time. So that's one part of it. The other part is, uh, we notice that anybody who goes to a wedding loves the food, because that's the main reason why anybody would go. At least that's what I would go for. You want to go and eat all the food there.
I know.
But on an average, if it is seated lunch or dinner, which is basically, here in the south, you have the banana leaf seating, and their food is served on a banana leaf. Your waste generation per person is anywhere between 200 to 500 grams per person, because
Oh,
everybody, so an individual would go about being served everything that is being offered there, but not everybody finishes whatever is being served on the
agreed.
table.
Right.
Yeah. And secondly, in a buffet setup, so you have multiple varieties being served, starting from your three course meal to maybe 8-10 courses, and everybody wants to eat everything. So the highest number of wastage is actually in a buffet system, a buffet setup, where anywhere from 500 to 700 grams a person can waste per person. So
Wow.
you can imagine the quantity of waste that gets generated. So what we do to try and encourage people not to waste is, we put up signages everywhere, with quirky statements saying, eat as much as you want, but don't waste what you eat.
Lovely.
So simple signages like that. Even the family of the bride and groom are happy that people don't waste, you know and we ensure that we have a team there who is collecting all the segregated waste, so that there is no waste reaching the landfill. At weddings, we've been able to achieve zero waste to landfill, which basically means every waste that is generated at the event, at the ceremony, is sent for recycling. So organic
Wow.
waste goes to composting or biogas. If there is paper plastic waste that is generated, that goes for recycling. So you're left with nothing, basically. you know One
That's
other factor.
incredible.
Yeah, one other factor that we've also factored in is at any large events, you will have excess edible food. Now, there will be food that nobody has eaten from the catering side, which has not been served, which has still been in the cooked vessels, cooking vessels. We ensure that food also goes to the needy. We offer that kind of service as well, so that good food that is edible within that day goes to the right people who may be not as fortunate as you and I, that can afford to eat a few meals a day. So we offer an end-to-end solution to ensure that it's sustainable through and through.
Lovely, lovely. It's so amazing to know. I didn't know we are in a wedding, we are producing so much of waste, and that
Yeah,
too, which is not getting segregated and directly going to landfills. It's crazy. And the way you have narrated the entire concept and the way the entire execution is happening, it's phenomenal. I think
thank you.
we need to have more such organizations in the country and more Marvans in the country to make it possible to ensure that eh, eh, all the weddings, and India believes in big fat Indian weddings. It's only
Yes,
during COVID that the scale has come down. Otherwise,
correct.
day by day, if you will see, the scale is only going up. You know, the when we were kids, we didn't have those big fat Indian weddings. Now, as you know how the things are changing, and we are having such high scale weddings happening, and so is the waste, as you correctly put it. In such a scenario, when you are doing such an incredible work, I think we'd like to tell all our viewers here to be part of this incredible journey. You must connect with Marwan and his team and ensure that we are having eco-friendly weddings happening across the country. So this is a message that we would like to give to our audience. It's such an amazing thing that's happening. And I'm sure you would have something interesting for the budding entrepreneurs also to share, especially the social entrepreneurship. That is something that a lot of us would like to take up as a career option, but there are some challenges, especially in the social entrepreneurship space. So could you just tell us what could be the interesting learnings from your entire journey that you have had so far? So what should our viewers learn from you?
Yeah. Well, it's very simple, Monica. Just as you started this initiative of bringing out the right kind of people in your videos, you've taken that passion on. So, which basically means you're a passionate person about something that you're doing. It's the core ingredient for any entrepreneur, be it a social or a non-social entrepreneur. You need to be passionate about what you do. You need to once you are passionate about what you're doing, it won't feel like work, and you're constantly innovating, you're constantly looking at solutions, incorporating from different learnings, and it makes things easier. And and believe it or not, we have this notion that between us, in the founding team, that if your heart is in the right place, the universe will support you.
I
And it
agree.
has worked for us. It has worked for us so far.
I'm sure, this is such an interesting thing that you have shared. If you're, it's something that I would like to put it across: intention, action, and manifestation. That's how, universe also conspires. And
Yeah.
that's how things start falling in place. I think that's amazing to hear from you. Marwan, it was such a joy to have you for Confab. We would love to have more such conversations with you quite often, because we would like to understand from you how your journey is taking shape in the coming years and coming days. This was such an interesting session that we had. Thank you so much for having this interesting, insightful conversation with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been honestly a true pleasure speaking with you and being a part of this journey with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.